morning, the 7th day of March 2025. My name is Ajuluchuku Okabwe.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Anambra show today. My name is Nonye Mwokoye.
The show is about to begin, and I will, as it's regular here with our flagship program, we'll just take a pause and come back and then give you the nitty-gritty of what we have for you this morning. Don't go anywhere. The show is about to begin. Welcome back. The press review is about to start, and we're going to be beginning with the news making waves on ABS website. And the first news we have for you is Soludo tax SEEDC on effective service delivery. And then we have NAFDAC to reopen some sections of Obogu Market bridgehead on Nicha this week. Anambra Women's Summit, Mrs. Soludo urges women to be alive to family responsibilities. Anambra State government to train 20,000 youth in Stream B Batch 1 of One Youth, Two Skills Empowerment Program. Comedians, MCs back Soludo on urban renewal development agenda and back on sanitation exercise in Awka. IGP decorates 6 newly appointed DIGs, 1 AIG. Alleged 80.2 billion naira fraud. Yaya Bello paid children's school fees in dollars in advance. Tinubu gives automatic employment to 774 national health fellows. EU leaders hold emergency summit to strengthen support for Ukraine. US President Trump orders Hamas to release remaining Israeli hostages or face serious consequences. FIFA Global Rankings, Nigeria Super Eagles remain, Super Falcons remain top in Africa.
Wow.
That's
great news.
Great
Congratulations to them. Congratulations to them. The story on Southeast Development Commission, SEDC, I actually saw the news this morning where the appointed members of the committee met with Governor Soludo, and Governor Soludo is bringing his wealth of experience to bear, actually encouraging them to work together with Southeast governors so that that office will, achieve the aim with which it's created in the first instance. And I think I agree with Soludo on that.
Yeah.
The most important thing is that we make things work in this part of the country. Since the President of Nigeria has deemed it necessary to create that Southeast Development Commission, over the years, others have their own. We have Northeast Development, North Central, and even South-South. So kudos to the team, and I pray that God gives them the wisdom they need to pilot the affairs of the Southeast Development Commission to yield desired result.
Yeah, I don't want to believe that there will be any reason why the southeastern block of states wouldn't have some tremendous form of development in the nearest future if they put heads together to make things work through commerce, opening the channels so that we can even have a channel where we can be ferrying our goods with effortless ease down to this part of the country. Well, quickly, let's go to the next story. We have NAFDAC to reopen some sections of Obogu Market. That's a bridgehead.
Long over. I think marketers, they've waited. I have some friends that do business in that market, and some of them have actually, they are tired of staying at home.
They are counting their losses.
That is what you do for a living. I don't think most of them have any other side hustles apart from that, except people that most of their goods are in warehouses. There are people that trade machines, hospital equipment. Most of them, they have goods in warehouses where they make sales from. Okay, we pray that that happens soon, and that other sections will equally be opened
thereafter. So that the economic activities of the states will have a new upturn.
I think we go to the next paper. The first paper for review, the Daily Times newspaper. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of the Daily Times. Now, an APC settles for indirect primary election to hold April 5. We have a court orders final forfeiture of $1.4 million linked to Emefiele, ex-CBN governor, while we restore the Amehule-led leadership of Rivers Assembly. That's coming from the Supreme Court. You can get the details on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. Now, Global Terrorism Index ranking, Nigerians will assess security situation better than foreigners. That's coming from the military. Now, Lenten season, President Tinubu felicitates with Christians. A Senate slams 6 months suspension on Senator Natasha. We have a rider there to readmit her after apology letter to Akpabio. Tinubu approves employment for 774 health fellows. All right, that's the much we have on the Daily Times.
And quickly, let's get to the next paper for review this morning, and that's the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper is up here with the banner headline, 6-month suspension. Natasha heads for court as NBA orders knock Senate. Kogi Senator lawyer says suspension illegal. PDP kicks Senate, insists its rules violated. And then at the mast of the Punch newspaper, we have marketers worry as 5-month fuel imports hit 6 trillion naira. Nigerians pay highest airfares in Africa. That's coming from NCAA. Rivers crisis, police vow to crush militants threatening oil production. And we have Sanwo-Olu opens new roads, promises more infrastructure. Litigation won't stop Alaafin's coronation. That's coming from Makinde. And we have 4 billion deaths. Air Force men attack IKEDC, brutalize Punchman, and others. And then we have alleged fraud, ex-minister detained in EFCC custody.
You seem to be leaving out a story there. FG designates Simon Ekpa
yeah.
Terrorism funders.
That's interesting.
Okay, a lot of stories making their headlines in all these papers. I don't know. Police crisis, police vows to crush militants threatening oil production. I don't know which of the stories. Natasha appeared here and appeared in the other paper too. You know, she heads to court. Actually, I don't know. The court, they say, is the hope of the common man. She's not common anyway.
These are where 2 elephants fight. So let's see where
she's not common.
Let's see how it happens. The funny thing about this whole thing is, I was expecting the ethics committee of the Senate, actually, after assuring Nigerians that she will be given a fair hearing, and then the likes of things. We didn't get to hear about the proceedings of that, but now we are coming up to hear about a 6-month slam, and again, on pending when she tenders. And
all the conditions attached to the 6 months suspension.
Suspension, you know. And now telling us that pending when she, tenders a letter of apology to the Senate president. Well, I hope the imbroglio between Natasha, the Senate, and Akpabio definitely won't deny Nigerians their right to what the functions of the Senate should actually be to Nigerians, because this issue is dragging far too long. We have issues in this country where there are people that are being remanded in custody for crimes they did not commit. Just because there's nobody there to, speak for them, they are languishing. But you have 2 big wigs there in the Senate, the Hollow Chamber, where decisions of how the policies and laws that will help uplift Nigerians from the penury and poverty that we find ourselves in. And these people are busy wasting taxpayers' money and making a mess, issue of themselves.
Another thing is this, any issue that arises, they are adults. I think it's important to look into some matters that will arise outside the usual sittings and the deliberations they make on a daily basis. It's important to look into the matter. then amicably resolve every issue, you know, in a way that is not going to tarnish anybody's image or bring disrepute to the National Assembly or whatever. I think that's what they need to do, you know, to see that the way they handle the issue very well. They handle the issue in a way that is not going to hurt anybody, and at the end of the day, the truth comes up, so that it serves as a deterrent to other people, you know, doing some things that you think people may not know, you know. Okay, let's move on now. Let's see the next paper for review, which is the Vanguard newspaper. In front of the Vanguard, we see Senate suspend Senator Otudua for 6 months. I think let's take a look at the riders there. Baza from the premises of National Assembly, her office to be locked up for the entire period of her suspension. All her salaries and allowances be suspended. My suspension invalidates principles of natural justice, fairness. Akpoti Oduah speaking. Resubmit sexual harassment petition against Akpabio. Senate should revisit Akpoti Oduah's suspension. That's coming from Labour Party. We are not in Banana Republic. Owe lawyers fault suspension despite court order. Okay, other stories making the headlines in front of the Vanguard says Simon Ekpa others sanctioned for alleged terrorism financing. Power generation rises 30% amid challenges. Autonomy, Algon asked LG chairman to approach CBN for documentation. We see other stories. Reverse crisis, militant group spits fire, threatens oil production. Blackouts, angry Air Force personnel invade Ikeja Disco, batter employees. Reps move to strip INEC of power to regulate political parties. Okay, and on sports FIFA ranking, Falcons remain Africa's #1, 36th in the world. We keep clapping for them. Sportsman.
yeah, it's always, as Falcons have always been the top when it has to do between both national teams, the male and the female. They've never stopped amazing Nigerians, you know, proving to us that, in fact, if government needs to even fund football better, they should be paying more attention to or improving what the women are doing, because they win laurels and they have been performing. They've been the top dog in Africa for a very, very long time.
Now, did you see this story, you know, that Air Force personnel became angry because of blackouts, and how they had to storm the office of discos in Ikeja. You know, when people are crying for the same reason, it seems people keep quiet. This happens everywhere, you know, and now it's your turn. You're taking laws into your hands.
Because so that's what we talk about. And in most cases, these people don't even pay the electricity bill that they're talking about. You know, there was a period sometime not too long ago, I think less than 6 months, where the EEDC or discos were coming up to say that Nigerians, they made mention of the Aso Rock, DHQ, Defense Headquarters, and so many other military installations were owing power to the tune of 4-point-something billion.
You've said it all, that most of them don't pay.
They don't. So now the question is, why would you be using light and then you're not paying? And I'm sure that there is allocation for that payment. There should be. There was some time ago when Nigeria hosted...
People that have worked in NEPA offices, most of them don't pay bills.
When Nigeria hosted the tournament, I think that should be Nigeria 99. If you were a football fan and, you know, followership, while the match was going on at Ibadan, the light went out. And I remember vividly, that match was against Northern Ireland, if I can't remember, because there was a player that I later read a comment he made, you understand, I said he has never experienced blackout before in his life. As in, to witness total blackout, he said he has never experienced it. And the first time he did that was when he came for a FIFA tournament in Nigeria. So you can imagine that national embarrassment. How long does it take to fuel a diesel at the stadium so that there will be power, even if the match is going to last for penalties and 5 hours? It doesn't matter how long it's going to take. But they had to bring Nigeria under disgrace. Armageddon. That was some newspaper captured this as Armageddon, blackout in stadium.
This is not the first time we are hearing such stories, you know, not just in stadiums. Can you imagine that some hospitals have experienced blackout during operation inside the theater? Yes, it has happened.
But in that case, there should be a backup for that.
The truth of the matter is that power holding companies, PHCN, or is that their name now?
Yeah. Power holding, EDC, and the rest of it.
They should try as much as possible to improve. And I don't know, Nigeria, it seems instead of us moving forward, it's like things are just going backwards. You can imagine that video that was going viral where others are running forward, our own, we're running backward. It's not funny, but I think we need to grow, you know, from, you know, not having... I remember back then, when I was in secondary school, if they want to take light, they will do announcements that they want to take, so that whatever you have in your fridge,
you probably know how to preserve it
yes,
and the rest
to
of
manage things.
And
they will tell you when they will bring it back.
Of course, because they're going to be carrying out a major maintenance.
And definitely they are going to return the light when they say they will return it. But these days,
nobody even
that means things are deteriorating instead of improving on what you already have on ground. And something needs to be done.
Well, in respect to power generation, like you just said, something needs to be done. And then the Daily Independent is capping something there for us. At the mass of the Daily Independent, we have TCN targets 10,000 megawatts of transmission capacity in less than 2 years. Well, that's URA, let's say, for that. Reps consider stripping INEC of power to register, regulate parties. And then the banner headline of the Daily Independent, Rivers Crisis, tension as pro-Wike lawmakers. 48 hours ultimatum to governor expires. And then we have Tinubu OK's employment of 774 health fellows to improve health care system. Sexual harassment. Senate is a place for matured minds, not controversy. That's coming from the First Lady. Court orders permanent forfeiture of $1.4 million linked to Emefiele. And we have our federal government moves to enforce new guidelines on organ transplants. Organ transplants. Wow. Nigeria loses 94 trillion to multinational divestment, business closures in 2 years. Wow. Senate suspends Natasha Akpoti Uduaha for 6 months, and we have APC to adopt indirect primary for Anambra Guba elections. And that's all we have for you.
We'll quickly look at this day before we comment. On this day, newspaper we see Cardoso National Theatre catalyst to unlocking $25 billion potential in creative industry. This day newspaper, that's what we are looking at. Senate suspends Akpoti. We've seen that before, but let's take the look at the riders there. Okay, strips of security aids. Okay, we've seen that. Ezekwesili, it's a vicious abuse of power. That's, I think, our own Ezekwesili there. Now, First Lady says, Senate, a mature institution, deserves respect, charges women on excellence. That's our First Lady speaking. All right, quickly, let's comment on the stories we've seen so far on Daily Independent and, of course, this day newspaper. All right.
Just like we said earlier on about the Senate being a place for, you know, where our decisions, these are people that have been tested by the society with proven integrity records and everything before they now aspire to be lawmakers. And then when you begin to find things of, you know, things of, as in accusations that, you know, threatens your integrity as a person, you know, flying out on the front pages of papers to the extent that tribesmen, kingsmen are coming in to defend your act, whereas nobody actually lives with you. Nobody goes everywhere you go to. So that's to make you understand that there is a level at which Nigerians, either our elites, are so impoverished us that we've lost our sense of reason.
I think it's high time our lawmakers begin to consider that name attached to their name.
Distinguished.
Honorable, no, honorable, what does it really mean? The honorable attached to your name should be held in, high esteem.
Of course.
I don't know. There are things that should not be associated with anybody honorable. That is important. I think there is need to have reorientation of our lawmakers or our people, that there are things that should not be seen around you. There are things that should not be mentioned around you as an honorable member. I think this is very, very important, that we need to, at the end of this, because we don't want to around them. It's not
honorable like most of these people that are in the Senate, that are governors, that are
they are now honorable. Now
they are honorable by virtue of being having deep pockets in order to finance the elections and the rest of it. But character-wise, most of them lack what it is. They lack the integrity to actually assume such offices. But then let's see what this day is talking about. The National Theatre, a catalyst unlocking $25 billion potential in creative industry. I totally support and agree with this, sincerely speaking. But it won't happen if the government or the right-minded people don't invest in it. You see Nigerians, when you open your phone, go to some social media handles and the rest of it, you see the way Nigerians are showcasing their talents, and you begin to wonder, these are what people are doing without little or no support.
Nigerians are highly creative. So, and you can imagine any little thing that happens, any little thing, just give them 5 minutes and go to social media. You will see different shapes, different interpretations to what happened in skits.
Yeah, for CBN governor to actually talk about this, it's that time we begin to invest.
And that national theatre, it reminds me, anytime you pass around is this Surulere Igomo, Lagos, that edifice, the way it was designed. But unfortunately, I think around 4 or 5 years ago, I was inside that building, so I don't know how it is now.
It has been refurbished, taken care of, as in, it's looking marvelous now. I think there was a partnership with the bank.
Because the edifice is really outstanding, and something outstanding needs to be going on inside it.
I remember way back in secondary school, we acted a movie, a play that King Gamene. And when you go into that edifice, you will really know that something. We have a whole lot. The amount of theaters, we've watched all these Ogunde movies way back in secondary school. In fact, I studied in Lagos, so I have the opportunity to be there. So I'm talking about the CBN governor talking about unlocking this $25 billion potential in the creative industry. Talking about the music, talking about entertainment, talking about even the skit making, talking about poetry. You understand? We have a whole lot to try to. So wherever, let's see how we can actually bring this to play in order to get youngsters into positive way of thinking, and then making some living today and inspiring the younger generation.
And take a lot of people out of the streets.
Of course.
Okay, let's quickly move to the next paper now. The Nation newspaper.
The Nation newspaper, and let's see what we have for you. The Nation newspaper, the banner headline is talking about Supreme Court, no evidence, 27 lawmakers defeated. And then we have the writers there saying, the Nation obtains CTC of judgment. Rivers people Fubara backing Tinubu, says Sekibo. And then you see that full judgment on pages 17 and 74 of the Nation's newspaper. EFCC secures for feature of 1.1 million seized from women at airport. Wow. Our troops kill terrorists. That you can find there. And then we have CBN Eyes. We've seen that 25 billion from Shoyinka Theatre. Has it been renamed? And we have EFCC quizzes ex-minister Uju Ohanenye. And that's all we have for you on the front. The Nation newspaper. Okay, we've seen other stories there.
10th Assembly, pro-people legislations shadowed by House drama intrigues. Furor as Senate slams 6-month suspension on Aboti Odua. Defense headquarters queries Nigeria's terrorism index. Okay, controversy over merit as federal government reverses Chukwu's appointment as Adun VC. Catholic Church decries wave of kidnappings targeting priests, pastoral agents. FG plans new rehabilitation camp for bandits, terrorists. Air Force personnel invade Ikeja EDC office. Allegedly assault workers over power disconnection. And Tinubu approves 80% dialysis subsidy, hires 774 national health fellows. All right, quickly, we take a look at the next part of the blueprint before we begin to wrap up the show.
Blueprints, we still have Natasha Akwoti. Oduahan kicks as Senate slams as 6-month suspension, loses all privileges. Arewa CSOs back Akpabio. Senate President must step aside for transparent probe. That's coming from CNPP and CSOs. And then we have Tinubu grants automatic employment to 774 national health fellows. And then we have Anambra Guba. INEC urges 7 parties to submit schedules of primaries. Troops neutralized 92 terrorists, rescued 75 hostages in 1 week. That's coming from the defense headquarters. CAS visits Zamfara airstrikes victim, takes responsibility. And we have our Dangote Group tops taxpayer list with 402 billion naira remittance in 2024. And then we have Super Falcons remain 36th position in FIFA ranking.
All right, the last paper but not the least is the Daily Trust newspaper. And our transport fares remain high despite petrol price drop. 12 Zamfara vigilantes killed in clash with bandits. Ramadan, Sharia's council defends a school closure in northern states. Nigeria lost 94 trillion naira to business closures, multinational divestment. NESG speaking. Alleged sexual harassment, Senate suspends Natasha for 6 months. Benue varsity students regain freedom after 8 days in captivity. EFCC quizzes ex-women affairs minister over alleged 138 million fraud. 6 killed at fuel tanker explodes in Niger. Niger again. All right, I think that's the much we have for the press review this morning. We'd like to thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can get the details of all the stories when you get to any newspaper stand, or you go online to read more on happenings in our nation, Nigeria. My name is Nonya Nwokoye.
And I'm Chuku Okabwe saying, up next is the discussion segment on Good Morning Anambra. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.